All right, Coach Sharp, the men's basketball team off to a great start so far. Picked up 2 wins, your first time out for the season in sanctioned ball games. Champion Baptist and Central Baptist picking up 100-point plus victories. So let's talk about those games.
We opened up at Champion Baptist over in Hot Springs last week, and it was a tale of two halves. We opened the game kind of sluggish. It was a really difficult environment to play in. They play in a little small high school gym, and really tight, only bleachers on one side. So there was some adversity we had to overcome in the first half, and once we got past that and really settled in and just started to play our basketball game, we started building that lead and trying to step away from them. Overall, I was pleased that we had to struggle a little bit to open the season, and against a team that we should have beaten handily, and which we did. But the game was a little closer than the score indicated. We finally hit our streak and our run with about 15 minutes to play in the second half. They stayed close. A lot of credit goes to them. They played about as good as they could have played, I can imagine. Eventually I think we won by 34, but we had to work for that 34. We finally hit a little run, and our defense got us out into transition. We got some easy buckets and got the win. Any win on the road is a good win. Then we came back home and opened up here at home against Central Baptist, and they were a very, very fine ball club. They have some pieces to the puzzle that were a difficult matchup for us. They had some size that we don't have. They had a 7-footer that played out on the wing. So that was a difficult matchup problem for us to move our bigs out away from the rim and guard. They had another 6'9" kid that was real athletic, and but I thought we played very well at home. Once we got all the little jitters out, first game at home and things like that, we again let our defense kind of carry us into our offense, and scored a lot of points. And but I was most happy that we kept them under 65 points. And our goal every game is to keep our opponents at 65 or fewer points. We feel like if we can do that, we're usually going to score enough points to win the game. And overall, those two games really, we're still trying to figure out who we are as a team. We know that we're going to be a defensive-minded group, and we've got to play that way to give ourselves an opportunity to win. But we're just still trying to find out the matchups that we need to go with more, in crunch time and things like that.
All right, so did anyone stand out for you in the first 2 games?
Our guards, especially, I felt played very well the first 2 games. Darren Johnson has really shot the ball really well. We've been working with him on a lot of his technique and just being confident, letting it go, and holding his follow through. And he's a 50% 3-point shooter. Whenever he shoots the same way every time, he holds his follow through. We feel like it's going in, and he's starting to see the benefits of that work on holding that follow through and working on his form. So he shot it very, very well. I think he only played about 17 minutes against Central and scored 18 or 19 points, something like that. And his backup, Daviel Clements, is also averaging about 15 or 16 a game. So between those two, they've made a bunch of shots, and if those two can keep shooting the way they are, and we expect them to, they're both shooters. I mean, we recruited them to shoot the ball. We're going to be tough to guard because we got some other guys that can get to the rim. We've got some undersized posts that can bring their guys out away from the rim. And so those 2 guys really stood out as far as individual performances for those 2 games.
So after the 2 games, you've seen your team, you've played together a few times. What are you working on as you move towards the next part of your schedule?
We are really trying to concentrate on half-court offense. Our half-court offense is not very good right now, and a lot of that still is that we're still trying to get used to everything. You look at the scoreboard and we scored 100 both games or whatever, and you think, how could they be working on offense? But again, all of our offense has come out of defense. We've gotten into transition. We're a great transition team. Half-court team, we're not there yet, and we know that we've got to continue to work to manufacture points, to be disciplined in our half-court stuff and get what we want to get, because when we play good teams that really push us, the game always becomes a half-court game where you've got to execute down the stretch, and right now we're not at that level yet, and so that's what we've really been keying on here the last week of practice or so.
All right, so you move into this week on Wednesday, just before Thanksgiving. You have a home game, and then you're on the road on Monday after the Thanksgiving break, going out to Texas A&M Commerce. And so let's talk about those two games and how you're preparing for those opponents.
Okay, Ecclesia College comes in Wednesday, and they've gotten off to a tough start. They're a little undermanned right now. They pose some problems though. That we're struggling right now running our half-court man-to-man offense, and they run a good bit of zone. So we're going to see some zone, and I would think we're going to see a fair amount of zone this year. We've been working on some zone offense stuff. We've also been working on some zone defensive stuff as well. So they're going to come in here right before the Thanksgiving break, and it's again, there'll be some adversity there with. There probably won't be a lot of people here in the stands. The students have all gone home for Thanksgiving, and our guys are still here practicing and playing, and that can be some tough stuff to deal with if you're a long way from home and want to get home for Thanksgiving. We don't have that opportunity this year, so we're going to stay and work and hopefully continue to improve and hopefully protect our home floor and get a win. And then A&M Commerce really poses, I think, our first real major threat, our opportunity on the road. They're a very, very good ball club. They beat SAU twice last year, and so we've got something to prove. That we're not the same old mule riders. We're going to hopefully come in and change that rivalry around, and hopefully go over there and play well. They've played some very, very good teams so far and done well. I think they're 3-2 right now, and they play Ouachita tonight, I believe. So we'll get to see how they do against a conference opponent and then prepare for them. But our first priority is to get past Ecclesia and protect our home floor and continue to improve in some areas we need to improve upon.
All right, Coach, we look forward to seeing you play at home on Wednesday and then on the road on Monday, and we'll talk to you about it all after it's all done.
Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you, Coach.
All right.